Morning, ladies. I'm going to do the first card for the January monthly club cards. We're going to use some great products from the Occasions catalog that coordinate with the Celebration designer paper. Hang on. So one of the things you can get in the Celebration brochure for free is the Botanical Butterfly designer paper. It's a usual package of 12 sheets. They're double-sided, so there's 12 different patterns. But look at this. Look at this. There's butterflies galore. Some you can color, some are already colored. They coordinate with the butterfly duet punch, so you can punch the butterflies out. There's some little ones too. I've used a lot of this paper already. So there's some little ones, and the punch has a big butterfly and a little butterfly, and they both punch out butterflies from this package. Now, I haven't counted them, but I was told that on this sheet there's 41 full butterflies that you can punch out. So we're going to use this, and like I said, it's free with Celebration. So you place a $60 order, and you can choose this package of designer paper for free. So one of the big pushes in Stampin' Up! Right now is doing 3 different, they're not really layers, versions of the same card in beginner, casual, and then Avid stamper, and I've lost my Avid card. I don't know. Oh, it's hanging out on the board, but that's okay because we're going to make that one, so you're going to see it. So the beginner stamper, everything is flat except for the butterfly. The sentiment's done in Memento ink, and then it's just designer paper layered and one of the butterflies from the designer paper punched out. And then on the inside there's splotches and butterflies from the Beauty Abounds stamp set. So there's the blotch and there's the butterflies. There's also a bigger one. So that's the beginner one. And then there's the casual. So beginner is somebody new to stamping and doesn't have any supplies yet, and comes to your class and makes a card and goes home happy with their card. Then we have the casual stamper, which are people that come to a class and make your cards and then want to purchase 1 or 2 things, and you try to get them to stamp at home. So that's a little bit heavier in stamping, so they're called casual. And then there's the Avid, which is the card we're making today, and it's me, where my life is stamping. So in your kits you're going to get the supplies to make the Avid one, which I'm going to make today, and you can make any version you like. So the casual one, I've added a layer of basic black, and then the sentiment is done in white embossing. And then the Avid one, we're going to stamp this in Versamark and white embossing powder, and then emboss the black with the tufted embossing folder. And then this piece of designer paper is layered onto some white cardstock, and the insides are exactly the same, and the envelope. So I'll leave this. Let me check that it's still in frame. I don't want to. Let's get it over as far as I can. There we are. So you can keep an eye on what we're doing. So in your kit, when you get it, envelope of course, black card base, 2 pieces of Whisper White, one for the inside and one to layer on the card base, a piece of black, 2 pieces of designer paper, the piece of white that layers with the smaller designer paper, and then a butterfly. I'm also going to have extenders on the table because you have to hand cut the butterflies out of the designer paper so you can punch them. Let me show you. So here's the sheet of designer paper. So you have to cut around the butterfly to punch it because remember the butterfly has 2 punches and you don't want to invade into this one and waste that butterfly. So I've made extenders and hopefully everybody knows how to use the extender. So it's just a piece of scrap cardstock with a bit of paper on the end or tape on the end of it, and you find somewhere to attach it to the butterfly that's not going to interfere, and then you use that as a handle to line it up. I'm going to try and do this without getting my head too far into the screen. So the longer you take to set this punch up, the better your punched image is going to be. So what I do is I hold it with my left hand, and on my right hand I'm gently pushing down on the punch so I can look before I finish that final push and see what it's going to look like. Just so you can make sure that you get it all centered in there properly and punch it. So the top punched out this out of the extender, but that's okay. We don't need that. No. Okay, so that's the punch, the coordinating punch, and there the butterfly is ready to put on the card front. So now, while I'm here, I'm going to layer the smaller piece of designer paper. Now I did use different designer papers, so I'm not quite sure which one you will get when you get it. So this just nicely fits in there like that. So that element's ready to go, and this element is already ready to go because all you're doing is putting it down there flat. Then you have your inside piece and your outside piece. Okay, so for the outside piece, the sentiment is stamped sideways. So you could also use this card this way as a hamburger card rather than a hot dog card, and just put your butterfly in a different orientation, and then you have a sideways card. This card is really versatile. Not my invention. I cased it from a friend of mine, but that's okay. All right, so what was I doing? Oh yes, going to measure for the, I was going to tell you, it's 2 inches, about 2 inches over from the edge of the cardstock. So all I did was I put my plastic ruler on there and just very lightly put a line so I know where to do the stamping. Now I'm going to do the embossing, so I'm going to do the same thing on the black piece so that I have my measurement ready to go when I'm ready for that. But I'm going to show you both versions because I can. So I'm all set up, have my sentiment. It says a little note, and that comes from the Butterfly Gala stamp set. This is the one that coordinates with the punch. And there's a little note. And then there's lots of other things. You've been on my mind. Hello, beautiful. They're really stepping up on their sentiments. And I love it. Okay. So I'm just going to take the stamp, and because it's see-through, I can see where the line is and just keep that in mind. Now, give it a second or two to dry off. Now I'm just going to go back in with my eraser and erase that. Now, you don't have to erase this if you don't want to. Making a mess. Because the designer paper is going to cover that up anyways. So now if you wanted to do the beginner, you would just take this piece of paper and lay it on there. And then this designer paper goes to the edge. And then this designer paper without the white, or you could use the white if you wanted. And it just goes on there like that. And then you put your butterfly. And I'll show you how to do the butterfly later on. But I'm not doing this version, so the first thing I can do is I can put this down onto my card base, because it doesn't have any string or ribbon or anything tied around it, so we can just put it on there. And it's going to cover all of this up, so with the black embossed piece. So there we are. That's on there. Now, if you were going to do this one, which is the casual version, then you just put your black piece on. No, you don't. First of all, you're going to stamp and emboss your sentiment. Sorry, I get a little carried away because I get so excited. I have to clean my stamp because we used it with black. Now, if you guys haven't got one of these Simply Chamois yet, you need to check it out because they're awesome. You don't have to get up and down. You know how you get up and down 14 times when you're making a card? Yeah, don't have to do that anymore. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to ink up my stamp. Stamp it like I did on the other one. Oh, I forgot to put my embossing buddy on there. Oh well, we'll just pray that I don't get overflow. So I'll have the embossing buddy up at the embossing station, so go over the whole thing with the embossing buddy. Hang on. I knew I was going to forget something. So all you do is, this is cornstarch, and I'm not going over top of where I stamped, but I want to show you. See, and it turns everything white. But I have a fix for that. So now I'm going to put some white embossing powder on here. And you do that buddy so your embossing powder doesn't stick to your cardstock if there's lots of static. We're not too bad here. We have in Port Alberta, we have a lot of moisture in the air, so it's not too bad. But sometimes it screwed it up. So we're just going to take it all off again. See, I'm not a perfect person. You guys just see the end result hanging on my wall. Step 1, do the measurement. Step 2, do the embossing buddy. And see how it turns it white? But never fear, we'll be fine. Okay, ink, sentiment. Stick it on there. And put a little bit of white embossing powder. Hopefully we won't get too much sticking there. And then I turn it over and just give it a good whack. There we go. Pretty good. Still a little bit around the L, but I can live with it. Okay, so now I'm going to go get my heat gun. And I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to heat this up. Now I don't know whether it's going to reach over far enough for you to see what I'm doing. There, I got it in frame. So now we just got to see if it'll heat this far away. So you just keep it straight until you see it start to turn color and become nice shiny white. See it there? I don't know whether you can tell on the screen or not. But you just walk it back and forth till it's all white and shiny, and then you know that it's embossed. Okay, so now we have a black piece, and we have the sentiment embossed. I'm just going to rub out the line that I made. Now, to get rid of all the white residue on there, just a Swiffer. You know Swiffers? I know you're not supposed to use them. Something about environmentally friendly or something, I don't know. But it does an awesome job removing all that dust from the embossing buddy and cleaning off your stamping surface, because I always end up with a lot of embossing powder everywhere. So now we're going to use the tufted embossing folder to put dimension on this. Now, Stampin' Up! Did a wonderful thing and put these awesome lines on here so that you can line your cardstock up. My line is crooked, So when you use my embossing folder, yeah, don't pay attention to the lines. Just kind of, this one's really easy to set up and line up properly. I think that looks good, pretty good. So I'm going to go and put this through. So I'm going to bring the Big Shot over because this is a dynamic embossing folder and some of you may not know how to use it. So, sorry, I'm going to try not to make it too wiggly. So to use a dynamic one, they're thicker than the regular ones. So you use your Big Shot platform. If you have the one with the flaps, you want both flaps open. No, one flap open. If you have the one with the two pieces, then you're just going to use the thick one, not the thin one. And then my machine needs a shim. Then you put your embossing folder on and one clear plate on the top. You don't need a clear plate on the bottom because of the thickness of the embossing folder makes up for that. So I'm going really slow so I don't jiggle you guys. There we are. Okay, be right back. Okay, so put this back so you can keep an eye on what I'm doing. There's the embossing. I love this tufted embossing folder. Okay, so now it's going to go on top of the white layer that we already put on there. So apparently there's embossing powder all over the back of my thing too. Yeah, I'm really bad. I don't know. I put it in containers so that it's contained and I still get it everywhere. Right. I'm going to put this on here. Just make sure which way your card is opening. But if you have it this way, it's not such a big deal because I'll show you. You can have that. And I haven't pushed this down yet, so it's not sticking there. And then you can have that. And then you can have that. And then you can put your butterfly down there. Maybe that's what I'll do. Let's do it that way. Sure, why not? We can. Now, I just have to make sure that this is centered because I don't think it was. And you know me, I'm a little on the OCD. Okay, I'm a lot on the OCD side. So last night, I had my team meeting for January. And we had a special guest. Because last week, our Canadian manager emailed me and said, so I'm going to be on the island for a couple of days. Do you happen to have any demonstrator events happening? He has family in Duncan. His son lives in Duncan, so they were coming to visit his son. I said, well, I don't, but we're supposed to have a team meeting on Monday, and I'll see if the ladies could switch it to Friday. So I contacted all my downline, and they said, absolutely, that would be fun. So we set it up with Dale. Dale and his wife, Carla, I'm just checking to make sure the butterfly orientation, came last night, which was Friday, and we had dinner together. No, I didn't cook. Ted cooked. I made the salad. And we had a lot of fun at dinner and talking about stuff. He is a wonderful person. And his wife, yeah, she's even wonderfuler. Anyways, we had dinner and then at 7 o'clock was our team meeting. So all of the ladies that were able to make it got to meet Dale and Carla. And I don't know why I didn't get pictures of Dale with all of them individually. What a Nimrod. Anyways, we had a lot of fun. So, if you would like to join my team, you can do it too. Just ask me how during celebration. But anyways, I'm not doing that. So now, there I've put the card together, and there we are. You can see the difference. This is really versatile because you can put it anywhere you want. You could even have it going this way and put your butterfly on there. But I like it sideways. So now I'm going to show you how to do the butterfly because it's kind of a neat trick. on his body, you put your fingernail on the outside and push his wings up, and then turn him around and do the same thing on the other side. So you have a folded butterfly, but you have a flat surface here that you can put Tombow on. And then I put dimensionals, well, a piece of a dimensional. I'm using the mini ones and cutting them in half because the, oh, that's okay. I'll just use it whole. So now I'm going to put a dimensional on each side of his body so that when I put it onto the card, the wings stay up. They don't flatten. Isn't that cool? Yes, that's my invention. As far as I know, I could be online somewhere. I don't know, but I've been doing butterflies like this for years. And oh my goodness, butterflies are so in right now. Everything on Pinterest has got butterflies on it. Now I'm going to put a bit of Tombow glue right in the center. And you don't want too much because you don't want it to squish out. And we'll find a spot for the butterfly and just push it down and then push the dimensionals down. And you have to just leave hold his body down for a little bit so that the Tombow takes hold. And I'm going to put a little bit of Winky on his body just because I have to have bling. Now, if you were making this card for a male as a sympathy card or something, you don't have to put the bling on, but you know me and bling. I have to have my bling. Okay, so there's the outside. So let's do the comparison again so that you get to see all three of them together. So here's the beginner, and it's just basic with the basic stamping. Then we have the casual. So we've added a little bit, some embossing. And here's the Avid, embossing and extra layers and all butterflies and all sorts of stuff. Now, wasn't that easy to do? Okay, so let's put these ones away. No. Oops. Yeah, don't fall in my ink. How many times has that happened? You know, you get a card finished and then you stick it to the side to do the inside, and oh my god, how dumb was that? It fell right on my ink pad. So then I had to do the whole card again. I know. Okay, so Grapefruit Grove. And all of the butterflies are different too. You don't get, because of the all the butterflies on here, they're different colors, but most of them have the Grapefruit Grove in them. And if you don't want Grapefruit Grove, just let me know and I'll get you another color. It's not a big deal. Okay, and the blotch on the envelope. And see, I'm twisting the blotch so that it's not all the same way. Put that away and get the Memento ink out. And the little tiny butterfly. Put that there. And then just stamp, oops, the butterfly in the middle. Your blotches. Look at that. Instant coloring for your butterfly. You guys are going to love the stuff that are in this. The occasions catalog and the celebration stuff. Oh, yeah. I got a lot of it. And the good news is that 90% of my displays are done already. So when you come on Wednesday, you'll be able to see all the displays and the new products and samples. It's going to be a good day in the craft room. Okay, I'm just putting the inside piece in. And there we go. The card and the envelope for Avid stampers. What else can I show you? Oh, I have handout. This card was created by Wendy Lee. She's a friend of mine. It's like North or South Carolina, one or the other down there. We met on the Thailand vacation, and then we meet up during all the Stamping Up events now and chat away, and we email too, and she comes out with the coolest cards. So I took what she did, and I've given you the sizes and dimensions and the supplies that you need. So those that are local will get this, but I'll also put it on our website in the file section so you can print it out just in case you want it. So there we are. Butterflies. Lots of butterflies. Thanks, ladies. And we're going to have fun on Wednesday, and I'll be back soon with the other 2 cards that we're going to make. Bye for now, and Stampin' Smiles.